Hey sissies and buddies, welcome back to my channel. Um, it's dinner time again. So on tonight I have some barbecue chicken and I have some rib tips and I have a little bit of scalloped potatoes here and then pea salad on a bed of lettuce. So I'll explain to you how I made that and then we'll just have a little conversation. So let's dig right in because I'm starving. So pea salad. It's a favorite around here. My daughter, myself, my mom, my son kind of, but not so much, but pea salad is a super simple salad. You can eat it plain or like I have here on a lettuce bed, but it just essentially takes some canned peas and drain all the water off. And then I boil some eggs. I cut my onions into real thin slivers. Like, I don't know if you can see that sliver of onion, but real thin sliver. Add the boiled eggs to the peas, the onions, tiny little bit of sugar, salt and pepper, and mayo. And you have pea salad. I love it. It's delicious. Excuse me. Scalloped potatoes are just basically like thin sliced potatoes, a little cream, salt and pepper, and cheese. And you bake it put it in the oven and bake it until the potatoes are soft, and season it with a little salt and pepper. For me, that's it. And rib tips, I just season those with that McCormick applewood seasoning that I told you about. Same with the chicken. Season, put it in the oven. The only thing tonight that took any amount of time was the barbecue sauce. And still, making homemade barbecue sauce is super simple. For me, I just put water in a pot, lemon juice, brown sugar, Worcestershire sauce, liquid smoke, apple cider vinegar, garlic, onions, and let that boil down into a pan. And then when it starts to boil down, you add your seasonings. And in this case, I use the same seasoning that I put on the ribs. And then you just boil it down. And then when it starts to reduce at the bottom and get a little thick, you add ketchup into it, let it thicken up even more, and boom, you have barbecue sauce. Put it, after you use it, put it in a little container and put it in your refrigerator. Got extra barbecue sauce for next time. Rib tips is bomb. The chicken good too. Mm, hot. And tonight I just have fruit punch, Capri Sun, and some frozen water. Mm. So I was having a conversation the other night with my son about dating. He's talking about how hard it is to date now and meeting everybody online, and you know, situations where people say there's something and then you find out they're not, and it's like a disappointment. I guess the ability to be catfished and all that stuff. We were going through that. And it brought me to a story because I ended up telling him about how I met my ex. So this is the same ex that I told the story about. Um, with him, and when I was sick and all that. So how I met him. I was driving my little car down the street, and I was in California at this time. I lived in Lancaster. So, driving down the street, and both my kids were sick, so I was on my way to take them to the doctor. They had like runny noses and like coughing and stuff, so I was like, let me go up here and get them some medicine, take them to the doctor, get them some medicine before they get too sick. My son may have been in kindergarten at this time. So kids that age are always getting sick, but I didn't buy him a lot of over-the-counter medicine because he had a lot of allergies. So every time he got sick, I took him to the doctor. Don't get me wrong, there were things that we used to buy, like Benadryl and stuff like that. But if he was sick, like what looked like flu or something, then yeah, I was taking him to the doctor, no doubt. And my baby, she was a little sick too, had a little stuffy nose. So I'm like, let me just take them both and knock this out. So I'm driving down my street to hit the main street. I see this little cutie walking down the street. Got on a little button-up shirt with a tie. Slacks on, looking like he either just came from work or a job interview or something. So I was like, ooh. So I'm looking, he's looking. I look in my rearview mirror and he's turned around, looked at my car. So I was like, okay. Let me bust at you real quick and see what's cracking. Back in my younger days, I was much bolder then. But anyway, So I must have busted you real quick. I pulled over like, what's up, shawty? You know what I'm saying? Nah, I didn't say that, but that sounded good though. But anyway, I pulled over, asked his name, we talked for a minute, gave him my number, told him if he wanted to holler, call me. So I was like, okay. Went on about my day, took my kids to the doctor, got their little medicine. You know, chilling at the house. So, not that, I think, was it that night? Yeah, so that same night, he called me, he was like, do you smoke? So back then, yes, I did used to smoke. So I was like, okay. Yeah, no, we got okay. This is where I'm gonna be at. Come swoop me over here. Now, mind you, I had just made it back to California from Florida. When I left, my family was living in the valley, and now they live in Lancaster, so I don't know nothing about this city. So he like picked me up over here and worked through this how you get there. So I'm like, okay. So I get dressed, hop in the car. I'm driving, and it's starting to get a little bit, you know, ratchet. Like the neighborhood is getting a little bit ratchet. Like the more streets I go, it's getting a little bit more ratchet. So I'm like, wait a minute. So I pull down the street, and I see this like little group of dudes right there. So I'm like, okay, this was a mistake. And I'm like, I didn't lock my car window, and I was just about to pull off, and then he walked up like, hey. And then I looked, because mind you, this whole conversation started off talking about my son's experience with catfishing. So it's like the catfish of the 90s, right? Or the early 2000s, should I say. I see this guy walk out of the crowd, put his hands up like this, so I'm like, I look, he started walking towards the car. This dude had like the red hoodie with a white hoodie on top of it, you know, tucked in, and he got on white dickies with a red rag hanging out of his pocket, and like, you know what I'm saying, the classic Nikes with the red laces, and they white Nikes with the red laces with the red swoop. I'm like, what happened to bro with the tie on? Like, who is this nigga? He walked up to the window, and I'm like, so I roll my window down like this much at the top, like. I'm like, hey, he like, hey, I thought you wanted to smoke. I'm like, why you out here looking like a criminal? Like, what happened to, you know what I'm saying, bro, with the tie and all that? He was like, well, you know what I'm saying? Some people live double lives. Can I roll or not? So I was like, okay. He came around, hopped in the car. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we gotta get from up over here. So we drove back, you know, over to where, you know, my granny house was, which, you know, at that time was a little bit nicer. Now it's, you know, the years have passed, so it's a little ratchet over there too, but a little bit nicer than where we was at. So, you know, we smoked, we chilled, and then, you know, it progressed from there. But I was using that as an example to, you know, to my son, and like, you know, catfishing ain't nothing new. Like people, whether it's online or, you know, in person, like people can put up any persona that they want to put up. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, manipulate in order to get what they want. They don't necessarily have to be on the computer. I know plenty of people that have, met somebody online and then showed up someplace, and that picture they got on their profile picture is 13 years old. Especially in my age group, it's like 13 years old, like 250 pounds later. But I try to keep it completely 100 with people. I'm not ashamed of myself, and that's what I was telling him, that people that do that, you know, they either feel some type of way about themselves, that they can't be themselves, or they're trying to get something out of somebody for a certain reason. So you have to be careful. People's, mostly every relationship nowadays, people are meeting online, or, sliding in somebody's DMs and all of that. But, you got to be careful with that stuff, because you never know what you get. You know what I'm saying? Gotta be careful. Especially with this lifestyle, because, not for nothing, but for me, most of the interactions with people that are in the lifestyle that I have are online, as of right now. And so that makes me leery to like step out and they'd be like, oh, we all gonna go do blah, blah, blah. Like, those events I'm more prone to go to, where we're, everybody, and it's going to be a public place and all this. Those events I'm more prone to go to than like some private event or come to somebody's house. No, ma'am, I'm not going to do that. And if you can find me floating in no river face up, I'm good. So full already. I barely start eating, but I'm super full. That's crazy. That's the crazy thing about dating nowadays, or, trying to find yourself, or figuring out where you're going to be as far as dynamic wise. There are so many things you have to worry about. I have heard so many horror stories that, it got me shell shocked. And then on top of that, I've been through so much in my lifetime that my trust level is super low. I mean, not for nothing, look at the story I just told. And then when I asked him about it, he was like, oh yeah, I was coming from a job interview, and, this, that, and the third, but I'm also this, that, and the third. So it's like, you got to be careful, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not like these dudes wear signs, or these women wear signs on their chest that says, hey, I'm a compulsive liar. Hey, I'm a cheater. I mean, it would be nice. Right? It would be super nice. Like, you meet somebody and then they have tattooed on their neck, compulsive liar. You know what I'm saying? Cheater or whatever. Then, in those situations, you'd be like, oh, okay. I already see where this is going. 14 domestic violence cases. You know what I'm saying? Like, things to look out for. It's not like that. So, but my auntie had gave me a piece of advice a long time ago. She said, that's why you always take a long time to date somebody. Date somebody for a very, very long time, because she said people can't pretend. People can only pretend for about 6 months, and then at that 6 months, little pieces of their real self start to come out. By the time you hit a year mark, they can't, you know what I'm saying? It's so second instinct, they can't even hide, those traits that they're trying to hide. I have found that to be so true. I was talking to my friend. She's talking about her vetting process is like a year. I'm like, you go, girl, cause I'm right there with you. Like a year or more. Like I'm gonna need to be able to be exposed to every single thing you're trying to hide. Even your morning breath. I'm not trying to walk into a situation where I'm not completely comfortable with everything. You know, which is one of the reasons that I've reserved myself, you know, to the fact that it's going to be quite some time before I find myself in a relationship or in a dynamic, and I'm okay with that because not only because I have so much more to learn about myself, but because once I get to the point where I'm completely comfortable with me and where I'm at, now I have to learn this other person. And look how long this journey, I mean, at this point, it's been almost 3 years of just focusing on me and what I want and where am I going and this, that, and the third, and still I'm not there. So how long is it going to take? Grow boom. Looks like I find something else about myself, learn something new about myself with every new thing that I learn. So as I'm progressing with that, it's like, how do you, when you're, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but how do you focus on doing this, that, and the third when you're still trying to get this together? I can't. My mind has to be singularly focused so that I can concentrate and understand and grasp what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. I can't be distracted by other things. That's not to say that I can't multitask as far as jobs and working and stuff like that, but for me, in this thing that I'm trying to do, I gotta be completely focused because I don't want to be distracted by the other things. I'll be mess around and be always focusing on the wrong thing because I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of easily distractible. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm trying to focus on one thing at a time, I need to focus on that and master that and know how it's gonna fit into me and then move on to the next thing. I can't be rushed. I won't be. And I think that's another reason why I'm single because I won't be rushed. No. And besides that, when you already have an idea of what it is that you want, and that thing is almost, you know, it seems like it's completely unattainable, it taints. For me, it has tainted um, a lot of other things. Like I see, you know what I'm saying, speaking of sliding in a DM, somebody might slide into, you know, in there and say something in like 3 sentences in. I'm like, block. You know what I'm saying? Like, my block game is so strong. Like, I'm messing around and be on an island by myself. Like, my block game is strong as shit, okay? I've said it before, like, the slightest feeling of uncomfortable. Block. So full. No, it's good though. I think I ate most of my meat and most of my salad. I wasn't really feeling these potatoes, I'm not gonna lie. They low-key need some salt. Trying to cut down on the actual salt. I use spices and stuff. It's a hard transition to like wean yourself off of salt. Anyway, thank you for joining me for dinner time. If you like my content, like, subscribe, share these videos, comment in the comment section. I will get back to you. Thank you for tuning in. I love you all. Good night.